Hello, welcome to Lily and the Bee. This is my weekly podcast where I share all the things I've made, crochet, sewing, crafting in general. I like to make lots of different things, sometimes a little bit of cross stitch or embroidery. Depends what mood I'm in really. I hope you've all had a good week. Mine's been really good. Weather's been lovely, really sunny and warm for the time of the year, which is really good. I did a little bit of sewing in the garden the other day, which was just so nice and really unusual for September. Right, I am keen to show you what I made. Do you remember this dodgy old curtain, which was in our spare room when we moved in? It's really badly sun bleached. You can see, I mean, it's given it quite a nice sort of tie-dyed effect on there. And the texture's quite nice, but no good as a curtain anymore. So it's a lovely orange colour, and can you see two little orange pumpkin heads behind me? So I bought a pattern a few weeks ago from Etsy. And the pattern, the shop is JaneMagicCraft with, and the Jane is without a Y, JaneMagicCraft on Etsy. So I will show you the first doll I've made, which is the girl doll. Here she is. I used everything, she's got little leg warmers, everything I'd already had. I didn't buy anything new for her. I just wanted to use everything, all the things from my stash. So fabric, someone gave me this fabric, one of my mum's friends gave me the fabric a while ago, and it was really hard to get a colour to suit her, the doll, because nothing seemed to go with the orange. I kept holding up fabric against her, thinking, oh, that doesn't go, but the green kind of looked the nicest with the little purple flowers on, and she's got little, I crocheted her some leg warmers. The pattern comes with fabric, a pattern for fabric leg warmers with stretchy fabric, but I just thought it'd be nice to crochet something that'd look cute. There's a little face, a little bow in her hair, and so I finished her, showed my husband, and he said, first of all he said, oh, I thought it was a boy, before I put the clothes on. And he said, maybe you could make a boy one as well, and we could take them on holiday and put them in the van. Because last year we took my Toft sea turtle, which I made, we took that on holiday. I don't know why I have to take toys on, things I've made on holiday. We took that on holiday in the van. So this year we're going to take the pumpkin doll. So here is her all finished, and the boy isn't finished. He's half finished. He's in the nude. Right, here he is. And you can see how the dolls come together without the clothes on as well, a bit better, can't you? Because I didn't buy anything, ideally he would have had orange, I would have used orange cotton for the dolls, but because I didn't want to buy anything, I wanted to use things I had already, I used a pale, it was a creamy sort of cotton really. But I actually quite like the effect. I think it goes with the style. They're not primitive dolls, but I think maybe it's the fabric or something about them looks a bit similar to the primitive dolls that people make, which are fantastic. That some of them are quite scary, aren't they? I think I accidentally came across them once when I was searching for something else, and these dolls came up. And yeah, they're clever how people make them look so old, but also they are a bit spooky looking, some of them. But I don't think these are scary. So there's the two dolls, and also I have a little pet, a little cat ghost. How cute is that? So yeah, there's the two of them. He will have clothes. I'm aiming to make them in the week for him. He's going to have a pair of dungarees, and I'm also, for some reason, I thought he needs a rucksack. So maybe because he's coming on holiday with us, he'll need a rucksack to put his things in. So yeah, that's what I'm going to make next. A rucksack for him, which I think I'll crochet. But I think they're really cute. They're really something completely different. And a bit weird really, but I like them. Is the hand went a bit, I've got a bit of a hole in the end of her hand because fabric was so obviously not ideal because it was so old. The end, when I was turning the inside out, the end went through and I made a little hole in it, but it doesn't matter, it goes with the style of the dolls really. So put them back in their little basket. My mum gave me this basket, which I hadn't really used before. I thought, oh, it's handy for walking around with my pumpkin dolls in it. Actually, I was taking a photograph of them in the garden, and they were, of the girl doll, and they were in the basket. And I was walking around the garden with a basket with the pumpkin dolls in. I said to my husband, do I look really strange doing this? What do people think? But no one saw me. Yeah, and there's a few different designs of this. I might make another couple of those. Yeah, so I enjoyed making that. The pattern was quite hard for me to follow because I'm used to following patterns where the seam allowance is included in the pattern, but in this one you cut out the pattern and then you draw round the pattern and then you stitch on the line that you've drawn, as opposed to stitching using your sewing foot on the sewing machine as a guide. So it's a bit different, and it did take me a while because around the corners I was thinking, oh, I can't see my line. I found it a bit more difficult, but with practice and certainly making the second one, I did get used to it and I got better at it. But the dress, I mean, her dress isn't a great fit because that didn't have a seam allowance either, and I did struggle a bit with that because in my own slapdash Lily way, I kind of jumped ahead a bit of the pattern, and in the end I did change it slightly. But yeah, the arms are a bit too tight really, but that's okay. I've cut out I can't really show you the pattern, but with the dungarees I've cut out the pattern and I've added my own seam allowance, and I'm going to stitch it like that with a seam allowance because I find that easier. But yeah, nothing to do with the pattern, it's just how I prefer to stitch really, how I prefer to sew. And although I've sewn for a long time, I haven't sewn that many actual patterns, so I'm getting used to that as well, and I like learning and improving, so it's really good in that way. But I just have to make sure I don't run ahead of myself, and I have to follow the pattern stage by stage. But yeah, they were great to make, really enjoyed making them, and yeah, now going to come on holiday with us. What else have I been up to? I dried some grass because I found these in our back garden, and I think I must have plucked them a couple of years ago, some seeds. I grew a few grasses. I grew some bunny tail. I don't know if they're called bunny tail or hare's tails. Bunny tail, I think. I don't know. Bunny's tail. And they were little white ones, and they were really nice. And I grew them for my sister and dried them, and she put them in a vase, so she liked them. And I grew these ones as well, but I don't remember seeing them last year. But this year, there's loads of them. But because it had been windy, a lot of them had blown down. So I've cut them, dried them upside down, which they dried in a week really quickly, probably because the weather has been warm, and nothing's coming out of them. So I'm going to put them in a little vase, so that'll be something nice. Gorgeous colour they are. I've also ordered some, which has come now. I ordered 6 days it took to come, ages. From this was 5 or 6 days. This is from Wool Warehouse, and I'm trying not to buy things, but I've got lots of Toft wool left, but a lot of my other wool I sold a while ago because I hurt my shoulder. I was doing a lot of amigurumi, and I was getting shoulder pains, getting it at work as well. So, and I was pretty sure that crochet was making it worse. So then I thought, oh, I won't be able to crochet anymore really. So I sold a lot of it. But then work were quite good and gave me some exercises to do, and it's gone now. So I want on my wool. I sold it, I want it all back. I can't have it back. So I've got a few bits, but not as much as I had. So anyway, I had to buy some wool. This is Karen Cakes. It's quite basic. It's self-striping, but it took me ages to choose these colours. But I wanted some colours that would go with our house because I think I'm going to make a cushion. So I didn't want anything too over the top. I thought, well, that's quite nice, calming colours. So I think I'm going to make a cushion. It's quite thick wool, so I don't know how far it will get. Yeah, but I'm pleased with that. Nice colours, and I'll be nice. I want something really, really simple when I'm not in the van on holiday, because I don't really want to have. Well, I did do amigurumi when we went last year, and it was fine. But I had got lots of bits of paper writing down my pattern, you know, ticking off when I'd finished a row, and just bits all over. And it's a bit of paraphernalia, and it's a bit windy and it's blowing everywhere. I just want to be able to take my hook, take some wool, and just go ahead and crochet without too much bother. Whether I'll do a large granny square, I'll show you my other one I made actually, which is on the back of the chair over here. I joined the my husband got me a magazine subscription for Christmas, which I'm still getting. I don't know, it's only 6 months, but I got one this month and I haven't paid anymore, I'm sure. And I'm sure I cancelled it, I can't. Anyway, they just keep coming. And I got free Bella Coco wool with it, so I used up lots of that. It was to make, that was to make a cushion I think, but I made a big, fairly basic, well very basic really, just a continual granny square. Start with a little granny square, bigger and bigger and bigger all the way around the outside. This was a different type of wool that didn't come with it, but the other ones all came, and they're really lovely and thick. I think it was Aran weight, so I'll just have that back on the back of my work chair, and then I can when I'm cold, I'm disappearing again, when I'm cold I can have that on my knees with a hot water bottle, because sometimes I think it's because I'm sitting at a desk, I'm not moving, and I get a bit chilly even though it might not even be that cold. So yeah, so that's my crochet project. I will do some amigurumi again at some point, but I don't want to irritate my shoulder it's gone in case it does come back again. And I'm making lots of sewn dolls, so I don't want to go too doll crazy. But I do like the Toft patterns, so I do like making amigurumi. But yeah, I'm just having a little break from it. I'm going to do a little bit of beachy stuff now, because we went to the beach on Sunday and it was so windy. Literally, the sand was like a sandstorm on the back of my legs, and it was so painful. It was like little bits of sand, which you wouldn't think would hurt you, but with the wind bashing up against the back of my calves, it was really painful. But then the other way coming back again, it was fine. So I did take a video actually, which I might pop at the end of this video. I'll try to remember. So I found quite a lot of seagrass. I'm going to see if I can hold this up for you. If I stand up, it might be easier. There we go. So, which, that's quite a lot in one go. Sometimes we find loads and loads and loads. So this is the biggest piece that I found. And you can actually see it's got a bubble in it. And found a few that colour, another one, nice smooth one. The smaller piece. So this is the most usual colour that we find, sea foamy sort of colour on our beach. I did find some green. But as you can see from this one here, which I'm going to show you, would have been the top of a bottle, and you can clearly see that. But it's not sharp. Oops. It's not sharp, it's completely smooth because it's been in the sea for so long. So the salt and the waves swishing it around have made it completely smooth as anything, and frosted as well. And I got quite excited because this was just laying on the beach on the sand like this, and can you see that ridge there? So as soon as I see that, I know it would have been a plate. So then I turn it over, I'll pick it up, turn it over and think, oh, is it going to have a lovely pattern on? I mean, this one has got a pattern, but it's not the best. It's just a couple of lines really, but you can see how that would have been a plate. And it gets me thinking, how did that plate end up in the sea? And I don't envision a cruise ship and someone's throwing the plate over the edge. I don't think that is how they get in the sea. I sort of imagine it. Or who was having a meal? Who was the last person to have a meal off this plate? That's what I would like to know. But obviously, you don't know. You can't tell. I found this as well. This is from a piece of pottery, but I don't know what that would have been. Small. And I've got a holly. These I wash when I get home. I always wash all the sea glass in case a dog's weed on it or anything. And while it's been on the beach, and leave it to dry outside. And it's got one of my hollyhock plants were above it, and a little seed on there. Oops, a little seed on there. This piece I found, and I love the shape of it. So I think I'm going to drill that one and make that into another pendant, because I think it's just such a nice long thin shape. So yeah, pretty sure I'm going to do that with that one. And I have got this. I didn't find this at the weekend. I found this beginning of spring, May time I think, and it was just laying there, and I've got photos of it, so I will show them. I'll put them on the screen so you can see them. And I mean, some of you might recognise this without me telling you, but it's Dundee marmalade. and it was just laying there, and I just think, wow, that is amazing. It'd be nice if the whole jar was there, but that is as smooth as anything. You can see just how smooth the edges are. So it would have been in the sea for years and years. I don't even know if they still make them. And you can see the inside as well. So at some point, someone was making marmalade on toast, probably from that jar. It's really made me want some marmalade now. I really fancy some marmalade. So that's one of my top finds, because I just love the fact I can tell exactly what it would have been rather than sort of guessing. So yeah, we'll always keep that. And I'm going to have marmalade on toast for my lunch now. It's coming up for lunchtime. I'm a bit peckish. Let's put me in the mood for it. Right, have I got anything else to show you? I don't think I've got anything to show you. I've got plans of going to start the crochet cushion. I'm going to make 2 rabbits from the same as these patterns. A friend from work saw my photographs of those and has asked me to make a couple for her grandchildren. They're only little babies, but she wants them as heirloom dolls, so I'm really looking forward to making them. And as soon as she said, I thought, I'm going to make rabbits, because a rabbit pattern, which I haven't made yet, with long, I'm going to use this linen, which is near enough, it's an off-white, and they've got long ears, the rabbits have, and just a cute little face, little pink cheeks. And I'm going to make pastel coloured frilly dresses, and they're both going to be exactly the same. So I'm actually really looking forward to making those. It'll be really fun, making it really, really pretty. So yeah, that's the plan. And I don't think I've got anything else in the pipeline, but I'm sure I might make something random in the week. I don't know, but I haven't got anything planned as yet. What else have I've got a little list here of what I was going to talk about, which I have talked about everything apart from, I was going to tell you a little bit about how I started sewing, because of all the crafts I do, sewing is the main one that I like to do, and I think it's thanks to my nanny. So when we were little, she used to make dolls with us all the time. We would go around there and we would, I hope we weren't too demanding, my sister and I, but we would ask, can we make dolls please, Nanny? And she'd make them out of sheets. So I can, as if it was yesterday, I can make a drawing, this bit like a gingerbread man shape, you know, basic doll shape, cut round it, and I remember the big, I think the stitches, she used to call them dog's teeth because they were really big. Dog's teeth stitches. We didn't aim to do dog's teeth. You'd aim to do little stitches, but I used to call them dog's teeth if they were too big. So we did stitches around the outside, and then I think it was just felt tips. We'd draw a pen. We'd just draw faces on, and then she'd help us make clothes for them. I think we used to make them out of my granddad's shirts. I honestly think we used to go around there every week, and we'd want to make one every week because we loved it. And also my granddad's cardigans. Maybe she didn't have any sheets or shirts left. I remember we made them out of one of his cardigans, which I hope, looking back, he didn't want that cardigan, or he didn't, you know. Jean, my nanny's name is Jean. Jean, where's my cardigan? No, I've cut it up to make dolls for the girls. Yeah, so we used to, and the same thing, just cut it out, stitch around the edges, and we'd make little dolls. So she was great at doing stuff like that. My granddad has sadly passed away, but my nanny's still alive, Jean, and she is in her 90s, and she's amazing. Still lives in her own home, and she does struggle to get about, walk about. She's got a little walking frame, but she still knits, and I always send pictures of the things I make, and I've made this. So yeah, and she's lovely. She was such a fun nanny to have when we were young, making all the things with us. And she used to make, you remember, I think you can still buy them, but you get dates in those round, these curved edges, little boxes. So we'd probably make everyone eat the dates so we could have the empty box, and then we'd make that into a little bed, make a little tiny cushion and a little cover, lace around the outside, and then make peg dolls, which I'm sure lots of people have made peg dolls, draw the face on, and again make little clothes, probably glue them onto the peg. Yeah, and again, it's just such fun. But it's interesting because I still like doing things, not peg dolls, but I still like making something out of nothing, like the pumpkins, especially, just because that old curtain, to make that into something, it's just such, I can't explain the feeling, but it's just so, it's satisfying. It's just, I don't know, I can't, it's just something I can't explain really, but I just love it. And I'm sure that's due to that. But then my sister would make all these things with me, and she'd enjoy them just as much. But she's not creative now at all, and she thinks I'm slightly mad for making all these things. And as I said before, she says, "Oh, yeah, but what are you going to do with that? You've made that. What are you going to do with it? Why are you going to? Why are you making all these things?" So she's not mean to me, but we're really different. So yeah, and then we sewed at school. We had a sewing. Went to a little village school where we had sewing as a lesson, which was wonderful. Our school was so small. I think we had mixed ages as well, so in classes. So yeah, and I remember, if I can find any of the things, I've got a couple of things I made. I might have got rid of them, I don't know, but I've got a needle case I made at school, which was made from felt and blanket stitch around the outside in the shape of a little house. Still got that somewhere, I think. Yeah, so did sewing at school as well. And then as I got a bit older, my sewing involved, I wanted my jeans to be a bit tighter. So my mum always had a sewing machine. My mum sews as well. She always had a sewing machine set up in their little spare room. She always calls it a utility room. Is that a thing people have nowadays, a utility room? And we've still got a playroom at my mum and dad's house as well, so we're really old. We don't need a playroom anymore. But anyway, playroom, then a utility room with a sewing machine in. And that was always set up. So, I mean, I used to probably, that's why I made that bag I showed you. This is still here. This bag was made on my mum's sewing machine, 90s bag. Yeah, and just stitching my jeans to make them a bit tighter, because in the 80s everyone wanted really tight jeans, didn't they? And I'm really skinny. My legs were so skinny when I was little. I used to get bullied for being skinny. So I wanted them really super tight. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I probably wasn't very careful with her machine. To be honest, I feel a bit bad now. But yeah, my mum still sews. She makes clothes. I don't really make clothes. It's not really my thing. I like little things, little dolls' clothes. Yeah, and then I didn't start sewing again until I was probably, well, I made those though, didn't I? Maybe I've just, I think I stopped sewing, but I think maybe I didn't. I guess I did those when I was I'm putting to the bag there. When I did the cross stitch and everything, I was probably in my early 20s. Then I probably stopped for about 8 years or so. And then I think, I don't even know why, but I just got a sewing machine again. And that's when I started making bags. And a few people at work said that they liked the bag because I make them for them. And then I started making bags sort of to sell as such. But I didn't, mainly it was just family and friends and word of mouth. But even now people say, "Oh, I've still got your bag." I thought, "Oh, I made that such a long time ago," and people are still using them, which is really nice. So over the years, yeah, I've just continued really. But now making the podcast, I feel like I've gone mad with it. I'm just making all the time now, and I'm not at work. I'm not busy doing things with my husband. I'm just making, which is great. I feel like it's who I am. So you have to just embrace who you are. Sometimes I think I don't always do that. I'm always a bit unsure of myself and not really confident in who I am. But now I'm just trying to think, I love doing it. If I want to make a weird pumpkin doll, I'm going to make a weird pumpkin doll. I'm going to be proud of it. And it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks, and just be who you are. So talking to myself a bit as well at the same time. Yeah, so goodness, I've been waffling for so long. I am sorry for my whole sewing life story. This is going to be my longest episode, I think. So if you've watched till now, thank you very, very, very much. I really appreciate people watching, and I hope you have a lovely week, and I will be back hopefully in a week's time, and I'll be off work then, so I've got 2 weeks off, so I'm really excited. So I might be uploading videos on different days because we'll be doing different things. So but I'll still be recording, so the videos will pop up at some point. Yeah, so have a lovely week, take care, and I'll see you next time.